Hi, my name is Dr. Beth, and welcome to my Star Trek channel where I talk about all things Star Trek. So, I have a very large collection of 35mm film clips, approximately 50,000 of them. And I have been identifying film clips which are rare and unique, which ones that do not match what appears in the episode. These are deleted scenes and alternate takes. I've also been I'm also creating a reference library of these phone clips, and I'm attempting to put them in episode order. Okay. Now I'm starting with the episode where no man has gone before. I'm going through this episode scene by scene and identifying the phone clips and putting them in order. And I'm going to show you what I've discovered so far. Okay, so these are rare, one of a kind original pieces of 35mm film shot during the filming of Star Trek. These film clips were unused because they are deleted scenes or alternate camera angles and bloopers. Now, Gene Roddenberry sold most of the unused clips to fans because he wanted them to own a piece of Star Trek. Here on the lower right-hand corner of this screen is a original film clip of the top of the Enterprise. And you can see some writing on the left-hand side of it. This is one of the unusual pieces. So I'm looking at and comparing these pieces of film to the streaming version and also the versions that appear on the Blu-rays. I'm also using TrekCore and other reference materials to try to identify which ones are the important ones. So I'm starting with this with Where No Man Has Gone Before. Okay. Now, the first few slides are from the original pilot that Gene Roddenberry showed to studio executives before they were edited into the on-air episode. So this is the title sequence that I found, and this is very different from the title sequence that you saw from the Where No Man Has Gone Before, which had the Enterprise behind it. This one has the background is in the transporter room with Kirk, Spock, and Scotty standing there watching the recorder being beamed up. Okay. Here's another version of this that I found. Only this one says tonight's episode, Where No Man Has Gone Before. This is very different from what appears in the streaming version. Here's another intriguing one where you see the background. Of course, the transporter room, the same as before, but very, very faintly, you can see the words tonight's episode Where No Man Has Gone Before. This is very faint lettering, and it's known as the fading in concept. Okay, so on the left here is a deleted scene from the original pilot on the Blu-ray, which has recovered footage from Where No Man Has Gone Before. And you can see it says co-starring Leonard Nimoy as Mr. Spock. And the background is this ladder and the hallway and characters walking down it. Now, on the right-hand side is one of my film clips that I identified. And you see that there are some subtle differences. First of all, the actors are moving differently. And second of all, the biggest difference is the color of the lettering. In my film clip, it's a darker color, possibly black. And in the original aired version, it's white. It's a little harder to see and to read the letters. So I'm guessing that this is why it was not used and discarded. Okay, so the following slides are from a deleted scene that occurs right before the scene showing Kirk and Spock playing chess. Okay, so this is a screen cap from TrekCore. And this is very important to remember what it looks like. Kirk and Spock are sitting at the table in front of the chessboard, and they're looking at a view screen, which has the stars in the background. Okay, so this is the final on-air version. This is one of the film clips that I found. Um, Kirk is sitting there alone, and so Spock is not there, and view the images on the view screen. There are no images on the view screen. It's just a white screen. So then there are no special effects. So this is considered to be a pre-production image. Now I've seen images like this in various different parts of, when I Googled it. But the next three images that I'm going to show you, I cannot find them anywhere. These are brand new, not seen anyplace. Okay. So it's the same scene. Kirk is sitting there at the table with the chess board, and he is looking at the view screen, which has stars on it. Okay. And you see, instead of the chair being empty next to him, what you see is the edge of Spock's arm coming into view. I have never seen this anywhere at all. This is totally brand new. And then there's another sequence, another film clip where you see the image of Spock coming into view, just the lower body of him, and you see his hand touching one of the chess pieces. Okay. And then finally, you see Spock sitting down next to Kirk in the chair. Once again, I cannot find these anywhere. So if you, one of my viewers can, if you see these, please let me know. I would love to know where this came from and if this is totally unique. Okay, and then finally, at the end of the sequence, you see both Kirk and Spock sitting there and looking at the view screen and then receiving the message from the bridge. Okay. Now the following slides are from the transporter room when they beam the old style ship recorder. Again, once again, I am going through this scene by scene and identifying the missing, the interesting ones. So in the left-hand side is an image from Trekcore. And you see Kirk and Spock and Scotty standing there, and the transporter room is empty. Transporter pad is empty. But on the right in the film clip, the recorder has been beamed up. This does not appear in the episode. There are several other differences. There's a slightly wider camera angle. The position of the characters is different. So this is a truly an alternate take. Now, here's another interesting one of image of the tricorder itself. The left image is from Trekcore. The right image is one of the film clips. Now, one of the things is this is a black and white film clip. This has not just been, the color has not just been altered. What it is this is actually a black and white piece of film. And from what I can tell, this is a test shot that the creators of Star Trek used black and white film to establish things like position of the cameras and lighting and things like that, so that they could they could develop the black and white film very quickly and cheaply, just to get an idea of what it was going to look like before they used the color film, which is more expensive and took longer to develop. So there are some other subtle differences between these two images, most specifically the color and the shadows. The shadows, you see that there are two shadows of the recorder on the edge of the transporter and on the floor, and you don't see this in the right. So the lighting is different. And also there's a slightly wider camera angle in the one on the right than on the left. Okay. Now the following slides are from a deleted scene that shows crewmen walking in the hallway. So right after Kirk and Spock beam up the recorder, they exit the transporter and walk down the hallway. And on the left is the image from Trekor. On the right is one of the film clips. And you see that the background, the scene is the set is exactly the same, but Kirk is not there. So I believe that this is a trimmed scene. You also see shadows of characters in on the wall, um, but you don't really see them on the or they're different on the left. Okay, so this is the same set, um, but Kirk and Spock are not there. These are random crewmen walking down the hallway, and once again, I think this is a trimmed scene. I think they were attempting to show that the Enterprise was crewed by a lot of people, and they all had different, you know, jobs. Like, for example, the uniform on these two characters is very different. The one on the right, on the left, is similar to what Kirk and Spock wear. The one on the right seems to be more of a like a workman's type of, um, maybe an engineering type of uniform. Okay, so here's another scene. After Kirk and Spock walk down the hallway, they walk past this ladder, and in I found this film clip which shows the same area, the same type of region, um, except that the it's a slightly different viewpoint, and you don't see Kirk and Spock in there. You just see random crewmen walking down the hallway. So once again, this is probably a trim scene, and this is a continuation of that same scene of the crewmen walking down the hallway. And here's another scene in a similar hallway. Is you see crewmen walking down the hallway. Once again, you see crewmen who may have different jobs on the ship. In the right hand one, you see a crewman wearing a standard uniform, like on the, like Captain Kirk's uniform. And then you see someone walking, climbing down the ladder who is wearing some protective equipment. Um, Once again, I think this was just to show that there were a lot of different types of jobs on the ship. And, but did not appear in the final episode, which is too bad. Okay, here's another deleted scene. So this deleted scene actually is in the recovered footage on the Blu-ray. So it shows Gary Mitchell walking down the hallway and talking to another crewman, and on the right-hand side is another film clip that I identified as being one of the deleted scenes. Now, if you want to see more, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I also love comments. So I'm creating a reference library for fans and to share and to preserve these pieces of Star Trek history. I am selling duplicate film clips in my eBay store. This video is part 1 of the Where No Man Has Gone Before set. This will be continued in further videos. I would love some comments. Please help support my this project. Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed the video.